Douglas Allen Bickford, President and CEO of Say I Love You in the Mirror Productions, on today's date, which is the 7th of July 2022, at about 10 a.m. here in Klamath Falls, Oregon, which is my hometown, which is the gateway to Crater Lake National Park, which is one of the 7 wonders of the world. You got to check it out. I am on YouTube and Facebook. Good morning, my YouTube friends and my Facebook friends, for absolutely one reason, and that's to teach you how to be positive about yourself, others, and the world around you, okay? And the only way to accomplish this is to attain and maintain self-esteem. And what self-esteem is, it's how you feel about yourself inside. It's also known as self-worth, self-confidence, self-love, right? We've all been in romantic relationships. You know, when you first meet these people, how that good feeling is, right? You're bragging to all your friends and family, you know, how great they are. You're never going to separate. You're soulmates. God got you together on purpose so you could live happily ever after, okay? Anyway, so what self-esteem is that good feeling that you have for that other person when that relationship was brand new, for yourself. Dr. Susanna McMahon, who is 73, lives in Madrid, Texas, with her husband, has a doctorate in psychology, which makes her a psychiatrist. She also has a master's in philosophy. As a counselor, therapist, psychiatrist for many years out of her life. Don't know what she's doing right now. There's very little you can find out about this lady, but I am her spokesperson. And she wrote this book, The Portable Therapist, 30 years ago, folks. It was published in 1992. Every lesson in it doesn't have chapters. I call them lessons. It's in question form. Every lesson in it talks about how we've been trained and taught. I call it brainwashing. She calls it training and being taught. Not to love ourselves, okay? Not to have self-esteem, self-worth, self-confidence. So, she's had thousands of clients that would hire her as a psychiatrist to fix their unhealthy minds. What a psychiatrist is, they study the science of the mind. That's what her doctorate's in. And so, and the science of the mind is how the brain functions. So a psychiatrist is taught how the mind functions so they can get people to fix themselves, their unhealthy minds. Okay? So people would hire her and pay her big bucks as a psychiatrist to help them, right? She knew that self-esteem was not being taught or anything, and 30 years ago was being trained out of us on purpose through the television and all that. You know, the churches, the state governments, teaching us not to love ourselves, okay? So, and now it's 1,000 times worse. She did all her practice before there was ever social media. But now, because of the social media, Facebook, YouTube, etc., it's 1,000 times worse. This training that we're getting, okay? So she knew as a psychiatrist she had to get, so she could help her clients fix their unhealthy minds. She had to come up with a way to give her clients self-esteem. Only you can give yourself self-esteem. Nobody can give it to you. I can tell you how to get it, but you have to do it. Just like she couldn't give it to her clients. So she had to come up with a way so her clients could give themselves self-esteem. That's called mirror therapy, and here's that concept that she came up with. You look at yourself in the mirror and say 4 things. I love you. I love my inner child. I'm worthy to be loved. I'm worthy to love. I'm full of goodness. Those four things will give you self-esteem instantaneously in front of the mirror. We're all in front of the mirror every day, and most of us, when we get older, start criticizing ourselves. Okay? So instead of criticizing yourself, say those four things to yourself in the mirror. And you have to say it daily for the rest of your life, literally. It'll take you less than 10 seconds. I love Douglas Bickford. I love my inner child. I'm worthy to be loved. I'm worthy to love. I'm full of goodness. And you have to say it daily. And here's why that is. Because to maintain self-esteem, it's like lifting weights. You have to practice it. You know, when you start lifting weights, if you stop, you have to start over from scratch. Self-esteem is the exact same thing for the brain, and she knew it. So that's why you have to say it daily to yourself to maintain it, okay? And then the next reason that she came up with mirror therapy and it's so powerful is, and she knows it as a psychiatrist, we cannot lie to ourselves in the mirror. That's why when you get in front of the mirror, it's very easy for you to say bad things about yourself, whether you say it or think it. We all do it. I used to do it. I don't do it anymore. I'm full of self-esteem now because of mirror therapy. That's why I'm on Facebook Live and YouTube teaching this concept. And I have been for over a year. Okay, it's my life's mission to teach you the concepts out of her book because it will change your life. Okay, guaranteed. So the very first time you say it to yourself in the mirror, folks, since you can't lie to yourself in the mirror, you'll have to force yourself to do it. Because the reason you say bad things about yourself in the mirror is because you don't feel it. That's how you feel about yourself. And so you're not lying to yourself in the mirror when you say those bad things about yourself in the mirror. You can't say good things because you can't lie to yourself in the mirror. So, like I just said, the very first time you'll have to force yourself to do it. The more you say it in front of the mirror, the more you feel it, the more you believe it. I say positive affirmations, not just in front of the mirror. I say it all day long about myself. So the more you say about yourself, the more positive will come to you. The more good things will come to you. That's the way it works. I don't know why it is that way, but it happens. It happened to me. Okay. So, the reason that it's so important to attain and maintain self-esteem is we cannot be content without it. What content means is you feel good about how, where, and what you are. Okay? It's also known as internal peace. There are 11 things that people are using to try to be content and get internal peace. They are Facebook, drugs, alcohol, sex, food, television, gambling, religion, another person, material possessions, or money. Those 11 things are known as externals. They're outside of yourself. They will make you content temporarily, but that content feeling will go away with all those 11 things. You just think about drugs, right? You do the drug, you have to do more drug to feel good, to get the good feeling, the content feeling, right? Same thing with alcohol. That warm, fuzzy feeling goes away, so you have to do more to get the good feeling. A lot of people will do drugs on an empty stomach, okay, including caffeine, because it's more effective. It goes right to your bloodstream, so it makes you feel good before you won't eat before you want to get high, right? Or you won't eat, you'll drink on an empty stomach, so you can get that instantaneous warm, fuzzy feeling. Okay, same thing with caffeine, right? I've done all this stuff. I don't do any of it anymore. So, it's always temporary. There's absolutely only one thing that will make you permanently content and give you internal peace. And that's to attain and maintain self-esteem. And that is the 4 things to yourself in the mirror daily for the rest of your life without fail. Then you will get internal peace. I have it now. And you will be content. I'm not happy all the time, but I have this content feeling. I have internal peace now. First time I've ever had it in my life. I got it at 65. Okay. when I started using mirror therapy, and I continue to do it today. I just did it just now. Okay. The other reason that attaining and maintaining self-esteem is so vital to a human being, it's the absolute most important thing you can have as a human being. You got to wonder why nobody's teaching it. Okay. That's why every chapter talks about how we're being trained and taught not to have self-esteem. Okay. She knew it as a psychiatrist, and she still knows it today. Okay. So anyway, we can't love or be loved without it. Okay. So what happens is you get in a romantic relationship. I don't care if you marry him or you don't marry him. You get together with these people, and that good feeling, when that good feeling goes away, which you thought was love, which isn't love, you can't love without it, and you can't be loved without it. When that good feeling goes away, that's when all the fights and the arguments, the cheating, the drug use, the alcohol use, flirting right in front of your partner with somebody else, whether you're in a bar or not, the little innuendos that go on in between you two, the name calling and all that, right? The threats, the getting therapy, and the apologies, and then everything just keeps happening, okay? Because you got in a relationship without self-esteem. You cannot have a healthy relationship until you love yourself before you get in that relationship. So you attract exactly what you are. So you got somebody that didn't have it. So because of the relationship turned toxic, you'll divorce or separate, okay? Then the same two people without self-esteem will go jump back in another relationship without self-esteem, and the exact same thing will happen. That's why you've been married more than once. It's why I've been married 4 times. They call it relationship jumping. So you go out and try to find happiness again, like that good feeling when you first met that other person. It works for a while, and then it goes away, and then all the same thing happens again with you without self-esteem. The other thing that'll happen without self-esteem, getting involved with somebody, the two people that got together will stay in that toxic relationship forever. A lot of people doing that too, because they don't want to be a failure. They're being codependent on each other. They don't want to be an embarrassment to all their family and friends, and church members, right? Church friends. They can't be alone, and they have nowhere to go. They're afraid to leave, so they'll stay in it forever. And then all the abuse, emotional, sexual, and physical abuse that happened between those two, they sleep in separate bedrooms. They don't even like each other anymore. All that stuff they have kids, and then all that stuff just gets swept under the rug by all the children. And then it becomes a dysfunctional family at that point, and then dysfunctional families produce more dysfunctional families all the way down the line. Their children are getting dysfunctional, become dysfunctional families, right? Because they got in a relationship without self-esteem too. And the only way to break the cycle is to attain and maintain self-esteem, which is the 4 things to yourself in the mirror, and then get the book and go through it. That'll end the cycle. But all parties would have to do it. And then the last thing that'll happen is 2 people without self-esteem that got together. They've had many failed marriages and many failed relationships, so let's exit out of the romantic scene and go, screw it. I'm going to be alone the rest of my life. And then they will quit taking care of themselves, right? You see these people out and about. They're usually older people. The younger people do the same thing. And they won't be, they'll use the 11 things trying to make themselves content. Because you can't be content without self-esteem. And nothing will make them happy. They'll sit in front of the boob tube or whatever they do to try to be happy using those 11 things, right? So that's how they'll live the rest of their life without self-esteem, which is miserable, really, because you can't be content without it. So the solution is all participating people that I just talked about all those different relationships, right? If they all said 4 things to themselves in the mirror daily, I mean everybody, and then they got the book, and they went through the book, they could fix a toxic relationship, fix that loneliness you feel out there as a single person that has had many failed relationships. And the person that's in a toxic relationship, if one person if you want to change and the other person doesn't, it'll give you the strength and the courage to walk away, and you will. You won't be, once you attain and maintain self-esteem, you won't be around discouraging people. You won't be around people that don't make you feel good about yourself anymore. That's happened to me. I won't be around people that don't make me feel good about myself, okay? Because I have self-esteem now. Anyway, so that's all the things that'll happen in relationships without self-esteem. But like I told you, I have the fix, okay? I'm the absolute only one teaching self-esteem out there on the internet, on the television. You know what I mean? In fact, the 2 words are a taboo subject, okay? Nobody talks about it. I mean, when was the last time anybody told you to look at yourself in the mirror and say, I love you? Never. When was the last time anybody asked you how you felt about yourself inside? Never. Okay? I'm the only one doing it. Seriously. I'm the only one doing it. I'm the only one teaching self-esteem. I'm the absolute only one telling you how to get it. I'm the absolute only one telling you how simple it is. I'm the absolute only one telling you how important it is to have. Okay? Anyway, so I'm going through this book one lesson at a time. And here's that next lesson. Lesson 51. Why am I so possessive? Being possessive of things or people is another way of demonstrating our own insecurities. Because you can't be secure, you can't have internal peace without self-esteem, right? It means that we are trying to fulfill our own needs from external sources. We become possessive when we are unsure of ourselves and need others or things to convince us of our self-worth. The Western model has taught us, and here's where that training comes in, has taught us, I call it brainwashing, that our worth is determined by what we possess, and we have learned to focus on external rather than internal possessions. We become possessive of someone else's love when we do not know how to love ourselves. We become collectors of things when we do not feel convinced that we are enough. Everything outside of ourselves is not ours. It may be on loan to us for a period of time, but it is not ours to keep. When we are possessive, we often try to keep these things, to cling to them. The paradox here is that clinging to something frequently results in losing it. If we have ever been loved by a possessive person, then we know how destructive their clinging becomes. Possessiveness fosters jealousy, and jealousy destroys what it purports to love. It is very difficult to act in a loving way and to encourage growth when we are afraid of losing the object of the so-called love. Possessive love is not real love. Rather, it describes real need. And needing someone results in far different behaviors than really loving them. When we are possessive, we are trying to resist change. We are trying to keep things as they are. And in doing so, we are creating an artificial reality of life. We are focusing our time and our energy on being loved rather than giving love. Possessiveness is an emotional handicap because it means using an external crutch to find self-worth. We are possessive What we are possessive of owns us. It becomes a burden and stops us from loving ourselves. This is how hoarders became about, folks. They're getting their self-worth in stuff, right? I know several people. Two of my friends are hoarders, but I could never tell them. One told me yesterday, I'm a hoarder, a pack rat, and his house is just full of junk. I got to get rid of it. But he can't get rid of it because he's getting his self-worth, his happiness from the junk that he has, right? Okay. Possessiveness is an emotional handicap because it means using an external crutch to find self-worth. What we are possessive of owns us. It becomes a burden and stops us from loving ourselves. We not only destroy the object of our possessiveness, but we also destroy ourselves in the process. The only way to stop being possessive of others and of things is to take care of your own needs and to be loved and esteemed. And that's what the 4 things to yourself in the mirror will give you, folks. You got to put down your defense mechanisms and do what I said to do. It comes from her. Okay? Then you won't be possessive of people or things anymore. There's a lot of people like that too. Try to give yourself what you need from the other person. Imagine yourself without anything and focus on what you have inside of you. This may sound terrifying if all your worth has been focused externally, but you do have everything you need inside of yourself. Stop perceiving the world through self-centered eyes. You are not the center of anything except for yourself. No matter how much you have externally, you have nothing if you cannot love yourself. Wow. This is like powerful stuff. This happened to me. I am not possessive of anything anymore. I could lose everything I own and still have internal peace. I got it, internal peace, when I had zip, nothing. Become possessive of your own time and energy. Become selfish. Try to do for yourself what you rely on others to do for you. The next time you feel possessive of someone, the next time you want someone to reassure you, try doing it for yourself. And that's what the 4 things to yourself in the mirror will do for you, folks. Let the people and the things you love be. Do not expect them to fill your needs. There is a wonderful paradox here. The less possessive you are, the more loved you will be. The less you need others, the more they will want to be around you. Secure people, those with self-esteem, do not have the time or energy to be possessive. They are too busy, too content to put their needs on anyone else, and they accept the fact that others do not want to take care of them. I have it now. I have that. I take care of my own needs, and I don't need anybody else to take care of my needs. I do it for myself, and I say those things, 4 things to myself in the mirror daily without fail. Remember, you cannot be possessive and also have self-esteem. Possessiveness is about needs. Self-esteem is about love and choices. Possessiveness is a prison. Self-esteem is freedom. How do you choose to be? There is another very powerful chapter for you. I'm going to have another lesson for you. I'm going to have another one for you tomorrow, which is lesson 51. Why am I always crying, or why do I never cry? You all have a great day out there. I can be your mentor when you start going through this change, and you will go through a change if you say 4 things to yourself in the mirror daily without fail. 458-232-5238. Call me anytime, day or night. I can encourage you along the way when you start going through your change. Y'all have a great day. On this Thursday, I'll be talking to you tomorrow.